What's up and welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Consider joining the channel today. Thank you. So here we have the release of the Transformers Titan class Autobot Ark, and this is something I'm very excited about. And I think when I looked at this image initially, I said to myself, it does look very much like an Autobot, particularly with the head. And then when I took a second look at this, I said to myself, it actually looks like another Transformer that I think we're quite familiar with, and someone we've been asking for quite some time, particularly in Titan class. And this is who it is. It's Tidal Wave. I think when you look at the Tidal Wave character, particularly when you have the likes of the cannons that are here on Tidal Wave, I think when you look back at here and you see that these similar sort of cannons are also on the Autobot Ark, and they're actually stationed a lot of places on the Autobot Ark that we can see here, I think that this is possibly going to be nearly a pre-tool for the Tidal Wave Titan class figure. And I think when you see the fact that this Autobot Ark seems like it can split apart, and there's parts that do seem to be able to split away from it, it definitely gives a lot more credence then to the belief then that this could also work as a remold and a retool for the likes of Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave is a very popular character, and it's someone that a lot of people within the Transformers media want to see, and particularly within the fandom that they want to see. And I think you can have a couple of colour schemes that could come with this character. The biggest thing for me though is the fact that it can break apart, and that when we think back on the original Armada toy, it transforms very similarly, particularly within the legs for example, to the original Tidal Wave. Now this is a Decepticon that was within the Transformers Armada series that an awful lot of people became big fans of very quickly. This was a domineering force and a very large Decepticon that arrived and helped out the Decepticons at the time within Armada when it seemed like their backs were against the wall. I think when you look at the head sculpt, for example, within this, it wouldn't take an awful lot of retooling perhaps, or maybe even a brand new head to give us the head of Tidal Wave. I think when you're looking overall at the body and particularly how it transforms, I think that there's a very big correlation that you could look at between here and what you're seeing then on Tidal Wave. We have known that we have had the likes of Fort Max that was basically a turned around version of Metroplex, so I'd be curious to see what the back of this character looks like, because that could be something that could factor in to it possibly being Tidal Wave then in the future, because this is something that Hasbro do. They do not just do these molds once and then think to themselves, right, that's one and done. Look at, for example, what's happened with Scorponok, and that they're going to bring out a version of Black Zarak that comes from Master Force, so that's pretty much a very obscure reference, and they're going to do that in the Generations Select line, which I think for me is probably going to be their tester to see if someone like Tidal Wave would work. I think it would absolutely work. I'm very curious now to get this Titan class Ark into hand and see what it looks like. We're going to have an awful lot of people within the fandom that are definitely going to test the theory and see if there's a way to configure this to look a little bit more like Tidal Wave, or if there is a way then, for example, to play in these kind of big bow cannons that are on the Ark and see if they do formulate this way of transformation. I'm curious to see what Hasbro do going forward. Like I said, there's a very big similarity in how the legs transform on Tidal Wave and on how they seem to transform on the Ark. I think that that's a big tell. And I also then think that people right now, particularly if you were going to do a homage towards Transformers Armada, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect or spot on to Transformers Armada. Look, for example, like the homage that we've gotten with Galaxy Convoy or Transformers Cybertron Optimus Prime that we've already gotten, and then look at the upcoming listing that seems to be a Transformers Galvatron that seems to be coming from the likes of the Transformers Galaxy, or I think it's the Cyber Planet Key version of that Cybertron version of the Transformers. I think it's very possible that we're going to get Tidal Wave from the Transformers Kingdom Titan class Autobot Ark. I think the work is there. It definitely can be seen. The Ark seems like it can split apart into different parts, which is already something that Tidal Wave does. Remember, he comes in 3 parts originally. I don't think it'd be too much of a stretch for it to be remolded, retooled, and to be brought out as this character. I think a lot of people would be a big fan, including myself, of being able to face Tidal Wave off against the likes of the Ark and various other characters. There's another way they could go about this though. If they wanted to make it more ship-like rather than the aircraft carrier, they could certainly make Tidal Wave into a dark version of the Ark and do a little bit of remolding, a little bit of retooling, and I think a lot of fans would probably be happy with that, given the fact that it's the character name and what he represents as being this absolute behemoth for the Decepticons. I think people would probably buy into that, and I certainly would myself. Looking forward to seeing what they do. I'm certainly seeing the correlations between each of these characters, and particularly between each of the ways things have been added on to the likes of the Ark, like these cannons. These cannons, I think, are a very big clear indicator that this is the plan for Hasbro going forward, that they're going to release a version of Tidal Wave in this night. Anyway, what I'm going to say is like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Consider joining the channel today, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.